It's a new week in the Crew Motorfest, and this week's theme is called Street and Touge, and this is my summit guide. Let's go. All right, starting out with the cars this week, the bundle will get you 3 cars, 2 in the drift category, 1 in Street 1. In Street 1, you're going to get the 300ZX Z32. In drift, you're going to get the Lancer Evolution 6 GSR and the Nissan Z Pro Drift. All of this will cost you $728,000. So I think it's worth it, man. These cars are actually pretty cool. Let's get to the rewards real quick. This week, we've got $100,000 for bronze. We've got 5 legendary drift parts for silver. The Punk Bolt Nitro, which actually kind of looks pretty cool. I like that style. And then the Mazda RX-8 Lightning Edition. This is the platinum reward. It's a special edition Mazda for the Crew Motorfest. So this is the only time you can get it until season 12. So make sure if you want it and you want to use it, now's the time to get it. All right, here are the pro settings for the drift cars. I do not have pro settings for the 300ZX, but you can have these ones for the drift cars, and then we'll move into the events. All right, for the first event, we're in the RX-7, and it's a loaned version, which means we don't get to adjust pro settings. And because of that, I have some recommendations. Now, if you could do this on direct mode, go for it. But for me, it was almost impossible. The car just wanted to drive straight. There was no steering it. It was very, very difficult for me. So what I ended up doing is I turned direct mode off. I changed the linearity to 65. And then for the sensitivity, I switched that to 100 and I went dynamic max lock of 50. So just to recap that, direct mode off, linearity at 50, sensitivity at 100, and dynamic max lock at 50. Now what this is going to do is make the car much more sluggish, and it's still going to be difficult to turn from left to right, but the car will actually turn, and that's what you need in this event. The cars need it just in direct mode, it just goes straight, and even if you turn the wheel, the car just drives straight. It's just really, really broken. So because of that, you're gonna have to switch in order to do this event. Anyway, that's my advice. Now, the other thing with this is obviously you're trying not to hit the walls. The longer you can keep your combo, the better. You need to get to an X90 combo, as you see on screen here. This is the max combo. If you get to X90 and you hit a wall, as long as it's early enough to get to X90 again, you're okay. It doesn't matter. Don't restart. It'll save you some time in your retries. You don't have to retry as long as you can always get to X90 before hitting a wall or before losing your combo or before the timer runs out. X90 is the highest multiplier you can get, and that's how you get the most points. Now, as far as points go, you can get 157,000 summit points by getting around 400,000 to 500,000 points. So 400,000 should be your goal. If you can do that, great. All right, let's move on. All right, this event is no different than the first one. Literally the same thing. Try your best to get to X90. This is a loaned version of this car. This one, though, you can do on direct mode because direct mode actually works with this car. So I recommend going back to your normal settings for this one. That way you can go faster. You can get a higher combo quicker. But you're still looking for times 90. Once you get to there, you're good. You want to try to get, again, somewhere in that 400,000 to 500,000 range. And it's actually pretty decent with this one. This is a good layout, good car. Not too much to talk about on this event. All right, the next event is a race, and this is with the 300ZX. Now, I'm using a special edition. You can use the base model or whatever you got in the bundle. Not a big deal. The parts you want for this are Nitrochemist with pure and extra pump. It's just a straight up race. There's no drifting, nothing like that, no points. And there's really nothing tricky about the course. Like, there's no points where you're going to be cutting the track or anything like that. It's all pretty straightforward. So do your best to follow the racing line. Try not to overshoot turns like I just did there. And just use your NOS smartly. Make sure it's in the blue the whole time. That type of thing. So anyway, let's move on. All right, the next event is with the Nissan, and this one is not a loan vehicle, so you definitely need some parts on this one. The parts I recommend for this are basically any gold legendary parts, as long as you have Slippery as your affix. Any other affix doesn't matter. You can use Drifty, which helps you get NOS back while you're drifting, or you can use Hothead, which helps you get to that max multiplier faster. Doesn't really matter. Either way, you need to make sure that you have Slippery. That's the one that's non-negotiable. It's advantageous to have Nitrochemist, but you don't have to if you don't have a set. It's advantageous to have Drifty because you get more nitro, and you're going to use a lot of it in this. So that's recommended, but as long as you have Slippery, you're okay. Now, as far as the drifting itself goes, this is another event where the car doesn't really work with direct mode that well. So I would go back to those settings that I told you for event number 1, which is going to be 50 linearity, 100 steering sensitivity, and 50 dynamic max lock. Now, I also, in the difficulty settings, I like to drift with traction control on. I have TCS Plus on. This is total on comfort. And then I also actually have the drift assist on as well. Both of those things help me, and maybe I'm just a noob, but it is what it is. Now, you see, I actually made a mistake and dropped my multiplier, and I dropped it at a point where I wasn't even at the max multiplier. So my points suffered tremendously by hitting this wall, and I still got 157,000 points for 400,000 points. So as long as you get to 400,000, you're going to be pretty safe. All right, the fifth race is in the Evo GSR. This one is a race. This is not a drift point thing, so you definitely want to have a race tune, and that's the tune, the pro settings that I gave you guys. Those are the settings that you're going to want. You just want to race this as fast as possible. Some things to keep in mind when you're racing in a drift car. You don't want to overshoot turns. So if you can slow down a little bit and take the turn, this is an example of an overshoot. You don't want to go that far. You want to stay as tight to the inside of the turn as possible and get on the NOS as soon as possible. You're going to be using lots of little NOS taps to control the car's slide. If the car starts sliding backwards or sliding too much, try to use your NOS to push the car in the direction that you want it to go. And the sooner you can get on the NOS outside the turn, the better. And that's kind of it. Let's move on. All right, the last event is in the Lone Supra, and this one is tricky. There's quite a few tricks in this one. I do have to hand it to him. This is a very creative track forge track. It's very similar to the one that I just created this week, and I haven't put that out yet, but I'm going to do a competition on that. I just want to let you guys know it's going to feel kind of similar to this just because it has sort of the same type of like wall ride elements. Anyways, this one is tricky, so let's get to the tricky spots. The first one is right here at the start. You have 3 choices on where you need to go, and the middle option is going to be the fastest. So you want to take it just like this at an angle and point the nose of the car down so it lands as flat as possible. If it lands flatter, you're going to have more chance to control it once it lands. So you go around these guys and around the right side here. Now, you can control the car in 4th gear here, and then you can basically full throttle in 4th around the turn. Here's where you want to use a little bit of NOS, not too much. And this is one of the trickiest spots. So you're going to be going up this jump here on the left, and the track, you're supposed to take this wall ride. Like, you're supposed to go up this thing, wall ride on the yellow part, and then you go back around and wall ride again, and then you start going. But if you take it at this angle with a little bit of NOS and you point the nose of the car downward, you can actually jump over this wall. It looks like this. Just like that. And then when you get it into 1st and you just keep on going, you skipped a bunch of the track. Now, this part, nothing tricky. Just use some NOS in the air. Prepare for this turn. Again, use a little bit of NOS in the air here. And make your way up the hill. Now, when you get to this part, you're going to want to stay right and go in between this thing. Now, the goal here is to make a full loop going left. So it looks like this. Nice and slow, full loop going left, and it will twist you around into basically where you need to go. Now, if you don't do this, if you drive straight, you're just going to, you can see there's no floor. You're just going to drop down in there. So don't do that. There's also this thing that blocks you, so you can't just wall ride here. You have to go up and around and do it like that. All right, as you're rounding this corner at 63, you need to stay to the left. And this part is where it gets pretty tricky because you have to wall ride back up, but I'll show that to you. So control your speed here, grab the wall, and you're going to be going up basically. So it goes like this, up again, and over, and then get down onto this ramp. I kind of messed it up a little bit. I could have went a little faster. Then you're going to get yourself onto this wall. So this is, it's really cool actually. So anyway, you get yourself onto this wall. This one is magnetized. You don't have to worry about falling off of it or going too slow. Just steer the car around on that wall and you'll be good to go. All right, that's it. Let's move on. For the slaloms, there's 2 of them. I'm going to give you the advice now. You need to have score breaker as your part set. If you don't have that, you need to try to get it if possible. If you can't get score breaker as a full part set for drift, which I understand not many people are going to be grinding drift parts, at least purple parts with skilled as your affix. If you at least have purple with skilled, you're going to be fine in terms of points. You'll be able to get enough. So that's basically it. Don't miss any of the pylons here, and make sure you have skilled on your parts. All right, finally with the escape, you're going to be going backwards, the opposite way that you're facing whenever you spawn in. So go up this hill a little bit here. Let's go up and turn around. And when you get close to the start here, you're going to make a left at this first street. Left here. And make sure you use your NOS. Get up to top speed. You're basically going to be following this around until you see this sort of weird like freeway entrance here on the right side. You're actually going to try to jump down to there. So basically after these 2 palm trees, you jump down and you just continue on down the freeway here. And that's it. It's going to give you a, couple extra yards. So that's the whole thing. All right, here are my final scores. If you have any questions, send me a DM on Instagram or Discord. I read every single message that comes my way. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.